I'm wondering why there's an ordinance that's preventing people from taking care of people in need in this city.
Homelessness is a human rights crisis that is plaguing almost every city in this country, and we can see that reflected here in the city of Dayton.
This ordinance does not offer any safety, only obstacles.
Dayton City Ordinance 137.21, an ordinance that criminalizes homelessness and the basic act of helping people in our own community when they are hungry.
The community and the city are becoming more and more aware of the draconian poverty criminalization laws, and the pressure to rescind this ordinance will not go away.
For years, I have been an active member in my community, and I have put in hundreds of hours of unpaid labor towards making sure my community is cared for. Homelessness is a human rights crisis that is plaguing almost every city in this country, and we can see that reflected here in the city of Dayton. The unhoused population within this city is an objective reality, and these unhoused individuals are deserving of basic human respect. City Ordinance 137-21 states that no person nor organization shall distribute free food, toiletries, etc. in a central area of the city without a permit. This is a direct contradiction to the claim that Dayton is a human rights city. How can the city of Dayton claim this title when you have laws criminalizing not only the poorest and most marginalized in our communities, but also those who want to help? This ordinance is frankly outrageous.
Being a part of the distribution days brings so much more than items of food to our community. It brings an opportunity to meet new people, build relationships, and help connect individuals to resources they didn't even know existed.
When there are people in our city wondering when and how they would eat their next meal, how could the city ask us to first consider where those hungry people are located, or to fill out an application to get a permit before thinking to feed a community member when we are able to?
Suspend all harassment and cease responses to ordinance calls by the Dayton Police Department. This has been ongoing since February 14th. Ash Wednesday of all days, an officer marked with ashes told us that what we were doing was illegal. For 16 consecutive weeks, multiple organizations, from PSL to Gym City Action to Nourish Our Neighbors and an array of activists, have prepared planned services out of our own pockets, serving between 100 to 200 meals for our most poverty-stricken neighbors and friends. For 8 of those weeks, we have been met with officers telling us, no, stop, you are not allowed to feed strangers. Stop, do not feed the homeless.
My name is Alan Lemp. I'm part of an organization called You Are the Power, and I'm representing them here today. I'm here on the same ordinance discussion that many of us have discussed, 137-21. I'm wondering why there's an ordinance that's preventing people from taking care of people in need in this city. It's a basic human right and a human need that we're talking about, and human respect is really what it comes down to. And I really want the 6 of you to think about, have you ever been in need? Have you ever had a day where you didn't have a meal, or multiple days? Do you know anybody that has? So I'm willing to bet half the people in this audience right now either know multiple people that have or have themselves. I know I have previously in my life. And there's no reason why anybody should be arrested, harassed, or extorted for trying to help out their community and better the community. I'm willing to bet that if you weren't in the position that you were in and you were in need, you would probably show up at one of these events asking for some food. Or if you're not in the position that you were in and you're willing to help out the needy, that you would be there volunteering, giving your actions. Because I know you wouldn't be in the position that you're in right now if you didn't care about your constituents and the people in this city. So I would like to ask you, if we could, please, I would like You Are the Power, Nourish Our Neighbors, and all of you to have a meeting, a sit down, and try to find a way we can come to a resolution for this ordinance and other city laws in the way that we can all work together. There's no reason that we can't take care of the community without having people harassed or extorted. These are mafioso tactics that were taken care of when Andrew Zimmerman was threatening her arrest a couple weeks ago. That does not give off a good image. That's not the image that you want to present as a city. I know it was presented on the news, but the live action footage shows a little bit different on what happened. And there's a reason why he was let go that day and not arrested and not fined. So I would like to ask you again, please contact me. I will absolutely hand you one of my cards after this today. We'd love to sit down with you. And I would like to ask you too, what kind of politician would you like to be? You have two choices. Do you want to be one that is known for representing the community, that takes care of your constituents, that you were elected for the position for the right reasons, and that you were given power for this position for those right reasons, because you're the person that people thought you are. Because again, we are the power. We give you the power that you have for your position. Or are you a politician that is sitting in that chair right now just because of money, power, and greed? I think we know the answer. I think it's the former, right? And I would really love to have an opportunity for you to be able to show that nationally, because we do have contacts in media nationwide.
I am one of the founders of a nonprofit organization called Nourish Our Neighbors, where we believe that food is a basic human right, not a luxury. Every month for the past 2 years, we have been out in the square giving away free hot meals to anyone in need. We come to the square because this is where the unhoused population congregates. As you are all well aware of now, one of our volunteers was arrested on April 7th for handing out burritos. The very next weekend, the police were sat waiting for some of us to show up at the square. Luckily, we did not prepare any meals that weekend, otherwise we may have gotten arrested again. Because of these repeated and increasingly consistent instances of escalation and harassment from the Dayton Police Department, Nourish Our Neighbors had to cut back on the amount of meals we could give out this past Sunday. Instead of our usual 120 meals, we were only able to cook 60 meals. This was due to the increased amount of planning on our end to account for arrests and bail funds. Because we only had 60 meals, we ran out of food within 45 minutes, when our events usually last 2 to 3 hours when we cook without worry of DPD causing us to waste half of our food like they did on April 7th. After we gave away all the burritos this past Sunday, I spoke with a woman in a wheelchair who told me she hadn't eaten anything that day. I cannot put into words the heartbreak and sorrow I felt when I had to tell her we were out of meals. The only thing I could offer her was a small pack of pretzels.
We had an opportunity to meet an individual who just moved to Dayton only a few weeks prior to one of our distribution days, and she was greeted with many organizations, with smiles, groceries, and food. She got to take home a hot meal and clothing. That to me is what we are. We also met an individual who was celebrating 30 days of sobriety, but he also was asking for help for others, so we were able to connect him to Miami Valley Harm Reduction. This is community. This is what we're about. We're about collaboration, not criminalization. Being consistent in the community is crucial to building up individuals, which will only benefit the city of Dayton. This ordinance does not offer any safety, only obstacles.